Hey, real quick, you're about to hear another awesome episode at the Rainmaker Family Show, but I wanted to put out just a little disclaimer that my mic was actually accidentally turned off the entire time. So we had to do some crazy editing to make the audio sound okay. So if you hear some like muffledness or like, why is that off? That's why, but sit back and enjoy this episode.
Today, Chelsea and I are having a candid conversation about this one little thing in our business that has a massive ROI. And if you don't have this going in your business, it's something you should put on your goals for this year. I feel like this simple thing, it's pretty easy to set up. Technology has made it even easier. And we're going to go into that in specifics today. And it's one of those things that can open up a crazy amount of possibilities for your business because it allows more communication with your customers. What we're talking about today is building your list, building your email list, email marketing. You may have heard these terms, lead generation, all these things. And I feel like this was something we procrastinated for many years. But then when we started doing it, we really truly started to see the value. And now our email list drives a ton of revenue in all of our businesses. And we're going to break down how to get started with your email list this year.
If you are selling any product, any service, you want to grow a personal brand, I would argue that you need an email list. As much as I love social media, posting things, social media is like here today, gone tomorrow. And honestly, a lot of times the things that you are posting, most of your audience isn't seeing it. That's why you have to have repetition over and over again. And what I love about email marketing is that you can build your list, you can build relationship with them in a different form. You have this list forever. No, regardless of what algorithms decide to do today or next month or in the future. It's a powerful thing you should start building from the beginning, and we're going to show you how. I remember when we first started implementing this, when we were wedding photographers, I was branching out and I wanted to do more family portrait sessions. And the first time that I ever did this, I went to our current email list and I just sent one simple email. Now, I had not been sending multiple emails all the time. It was literally like the first response that I ever sent out. And within a few hours, those mini sessions were booked right away from one simple email. And I don't even think I had gone on social media and posted it. I said, like, if you're part of our email list, you will get like an inside look on when those dates are available and they booked right away. That's the power of email marketing.
Now, a lot of people are building businesses online and you might be making sales, you might be building your Instagram, but really those things, oftentimes, like we teach Amazon, like we're renting someone else's platform. We're selling products on Amazon, we're building an Instagram. Those are all other platforms, businesses. Now, influence over there in all those arenas is powerful, but building your email list is like building a house you own, right? And it goes with the business, it increases the value of the business, but it also gives you a confidence. Like I remember Chelsea, you just having confidence in that season. Like if you wanted to book sessions, you could just hit the list. And it was so easy. These people that trusted you, that gave you their email willingly, they wanted to hear from you. And as soon as you sent it out, like the calendar was booked. That's the power of building an email list. And we don't need to knock on the why email lists matter door too hard. I feel like a lot of you are already like, I just know I need to do this, but it just sounds like another thing. Like I know there's a lot of people out there just saying, go do this and go do this and go do this. And we are like totally anti overwhelm. We want to not overwhelm you, but we want to equip you. And so today we want to just break it down. Like, what if we just made it like really easy? What if we just made it like really simple for you just to take this baby step? If you haven't done this thing yet, there are ways to do this in a way that's going to protect your time and not just add another like to do to your plate. I think we specifically, Chelsea and I, have been very careful about just like adding like we're big believers in consistency, but we don't want to just add another rule to our life. Like, oh, now I need a daily newsletter and I have to write something every day, right? That just adds pressure and stress. Now, some people work well with that, but for us, we're like, we love freedom. Okay. So, how can we create something that is already probably naturally happening that you can use some technology to leverage and to buy back your time with tech so that you can put stuff out there in the world in a way that's not taken away from your family?
Yeah, so we want to share with you and show you how you can set this system up, regardless if you're going to use it right away. So don't feel like, oh, now I'm signing up for email marketing. Now I have to create a newsletter and write all these emails. We're not saying that. We're just saying create a system where your customers, where your friends or people want to hear from you. And then later down the line, once you have that set up and maybe you have more bandwidth, or you hire a copywriter to help you, or maybe you start writing and carving out time, at least you have something to go off of for later down the line.
That's true. Yeah. It's kind of like if you're trying to collect rainwater, but you don't have a bucket, it's going to be pretty hard to collect rainwater, right? If you're trying to generate leads for your business, you're trying to make more sales, but you don't have a place for them to land, like you don't have an email list set up, right? It's like you could literally set this up. You could not do email blasts and not do weekly newsletters and not do any of those things, but at least just having it set up and putting it in a handful of places, you're going to start generating leads for your business and you got to have a bucket. Like, so if you are consistency with sending something out is like too much in this season, I totally get that. Just at least create the bucket. Okay. So email marketing, it is one of the most cost-effective marketing strategies. I mean, it's free to send an email. That's pretty crazy. Like if you were to, want to blast out a message to hundreds of people in the past, you'd have to pay for an ad in a newspaper, right? Or you'd have to post up a billboard. But we live in a day and age where you can just send an email and it's super affordable. And when Chelsea started with her personal brand, like way back in the day, we used this tool that's like it's like $5, and like it allowed her to send just through her normal Gmail. We'll talk about that in a second. Email also has like a really high return on investment. Like it's really known for having an excellent ROI because I think it's like 80% of people's preferred communication platform online. Now, text messages are definitely on the rise, but I feel like, texting, there's definitely some more rules and things you got to follow with texting. And email is just tried and true. Like it's been around, it's not going away. And honestly, we like a mix of texting and emails. If you can do both, great. But if you're going to start with one, I would honestly just start with emails because they're easy. And lastly, like I think the most valuable thing for your business and why you should consider doing this is newsletters, like they open the door for feedback from your people, like people that are wanting to work with you, people that are wanting to buy your product, people that have bought your product. Like if you don't have that open loop with them via email, like it's hard to get that market feedback. And oftentimes the best products you can launch, the most valuable feedback, it comes from the actual people, and some of the major success stories we've even seen in our community have come from people who have just built a list and simply asked them, like, what do you want? Right? What do you want? How can I help you? Like, what, if we were going to design this product, would you do blue or red? Right. And getting that market feedback from the actual people, it just gives you the confidence knowing when you launch that product, you launch that service, it's going to be a really amazing fit for those people.
This next section, we're going to talk about getting started in building your list. And I know there's tons of information out there about email marketing, this tool and that tool, and you could probably Google it and find a million different answers. But Stephen has really dove deep into this and he's going to simplify things with showing you different tools that you can get started with today.
That's right. So this is all about creating that bucket, right? We need a place where one, people can put in their email, right? And it collects it somewhere. And then number two, we need a place where if we want to email all those people, we're not sitting there sending individual emails to all those people. We can write one email and blast it out as a campaign to hundreds, if not thousands of people. Okay. So in this section, I want to break down three different levels. Okay. We're going to start at like super basic, up to like not even advanced, but like I would say more robust. Okay. So super basic is actually where Chelsea started way back in the day because she was like, I don't want to like have this whole software and all these things. Like I just want to be able to like log into my Gmail and be able to send an email, but not have to send it to like 50 people. The email list up for the photography business wasn't thousands of people. It was probably hundreds of people, right? It was probably 200, 300 people. And so it wasn't like this massive thing. And so we found this software called Gmass. It's just like a Chrome extension, okay? Gmass. And you just install this thing. I think it's like $5. You can check the price online, the current price, but it's like crazy affordable. And it allows you to basically, when you have it installed, write an email in Gmail, but then send it to like tons of people, right? And you can have your list and just paste all those people in there, and Gmass will send it to all those people. But then it's really cool for them. It feels like they're just getting a personal email from you, and they can reply to it just like a normal newsletter. And if you're just starting really basic and you want to have something like that, you're sending plain text emails with like you don't need any fancy design, anything like that. Honestly, that one was very easy. And so you could get that set up in a couple hours. And if you already have, emails of some customers that work with you, it's really easy to just paste them in there and get it working for you really quickly.
Yeah. So literally with GMAS, again, $5. I spent $5, sent an email to our entire list and booked out my weekend with mini sessions. It was that simple. I didn't go in Canva. I didn't have to make this big complicated thing. I just like, how can I make this the most basic? I went off of our existing customers that we'd already built some relationship with, and boom, it was booked right away.
Okay, I just pulled it up because this was like years and years ago when we used the service. GMass is now $25 a month, but still pretty incredible. There's some other softwares out there. This allows you to have unlimited contacts. There's not a lot of platforms that allow you to have unlimited contacts for $25 a month. Typically, the more contacts you have on the list, the more expensive it gets. But GMass, again, is mainly at that $25 plan. It's mainly just for sending out, right? If you want to have like detailed sequences and things like that, they have higher plans, but honestly, if you're planning to do like detailed like sequences and 7-day promos and things like that, I would probably lean towards some of these other ones I'm about to recommend. Okay, tier two is like, hey, I want to not just send out campaigns, but I want them to be really pretty. I want to have them nicely designed, but not have it take a ton of my time. And I might even want to do some sequences, like maybe when someone checks out a product and then doesn't buy it, maybe there's an abandoned cart sequence that goes out that helps them get over the line of becoming a buyer in your business. For this, our recommendation as of right now is Flowdesk. We've used stuff like MailChimp in the past, but right now I feel like Flowdesk has the easiest method for designing. They have the most beautiful templates. I kind of compare them to like the Squarespace of email marketing. They're just templates, just look so nice. So out of the box, it's not going to take you a ton of time to design. You can just click one you like, customize the words, and you're good to go.
I'm even currently using Flowdesk right now for my own email newsletter for my Chelsea Diaz brand that I've been building for the last couple of months. And the designs are really pretty. And not only that, Flowdesk is hooking up. You get 50% off your first month. And you can go to rainmakerfamily.com/deals to get that.
As far as pricing goes currently at the time recording this, it's 35 a month for Flowdesk, so not that much more than GMass. They also have a link in bio feature if you want to have like a link in bio site that's absolutely free. So if you just want to play around with it, they do have that free plan as well. Now the last tier is not really a tier up in like more advanced, but said it was like a little bit more robust. And this is kind of like just to pull back a little bit what we're seeing kind of trending right now in the email marketing space. I feel like there's one camp that's just like, I want to build my list, right? Like I have a customer, that's my list. You know, I have a lead magnet. We'll talk about those. That's like I'm getting leads for my business. That's my list. But there may be another strategy I think that's emerging right now where you're building a list more as a top of funnel thing for your brand and like actually attracting people to the list itself. Like they just like want to be on the list because of the value of the list. I guess a great example of someone that's been doing this for a long time is Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss has 5 bullet Fridays. He's got this newsletter where he sends out just 5 bullet points and they're like his favorite things and like just random kind of ramblings of Tim. He's been doing this for like, I don't know, probably close to 10 years now. And I can't even tell you how many subscribers he has on this list, but it's got to be in the millions, right? But people look forward to this email because it's like they know what it's about. It's not always pitching his stuff, but he can use it to drive traffic to affiliate products, to his own products, and just brand awareness in general, right? So that type of list is more what I would call like a themed newsletter, right? It's like a newsletter that attracts your ideal person. You're not constantly just talking about your product or brand, but you're talking about things that are related to your product or brand, right? So it's attracting people to that. For example, we have some Rainmakers selling, let's say, homeschool supplies, right? For them, like if you just had like a homeschool supplies newsletter, it may not be as attractive to everyone. But if you had a newsletter about homeschool hacks for families on a budget, right? Like that could be something that's like, wow, homeschool hacks. Like it's more top of funnel. When I say that, I mean it's more broad, right? Or maybe it's just about like homeschooling your kids, right? That is just kind of like the topic, right? So think of like, is there a topic? Is there a like something that is like related to your brand, but it's not directly your brand? And could you create a themed newsletter around that? Now, this does require more like output, right? It requires more of you putting stuff out in the world through this newsletter. So it's attracting more people to it. It's encouraging people to share, that type of thing. So if you don't have the bandwidth for that in your life right now, that's okay. We will talk about some ways to make that easier. So you're not sitting down and having to write everything yourself. But what we're seeing right now is there's really an emergence of these style newsletters. The cool thing is that these theme newsletters, not only can they attract the type of person that might become a customer for your business, but they can be really valuable within themselves. There's a couple big famous ones like The Hustle or Morning Brew. Maybe you're a subscriber to some of these that have recently sold for in the millions. Like Morning Brew, this newsletter, that's just a kind of top of funnel newsletter. It actually, Business Insider acquired a portion of it for $75 million because one, emails are valuable, and two, this is a media channel, right? The Hustle grew and they actually sold it for $27 million to HubSpot, right? So these businesses looking to acquire a newsletter to use to generate customers for their business. Okay. So I feel like the old way of doing this was like kind of just what we're saying, like start something on Flowdesk, start something on MailChimp, like whatever, and grow this thing. But there is an emergence right now of what I would call like these social newsletter platforms. And this is just, I'm just sharing trends that we're seeing. We're not experts in this, but this is what I'm seeing in the marketing world. And I feel like these platforms are kind of doing for newsletters what like Tumblr did to blogging, right? Do you guys remember Tumblr days? I was definitely a Tumblr user in college. Maybe that's dating ourselves at this point, but Tumblr was kind of the first time when like blogs connected. It was like before that, you'd have a WordPress blog and you'd just be like in a silo by yourself. But Tumblr made this like social aspect of blogging where it was like not only did you create your own content potentially, but you could just like repost other people's stuff, right? And so there's platforms like Beehive is one of them, Beehiiv, or Substack. These are the two major players in this space right now that are kind of adding this collaborative feature to newsletters. That is really cool. Like when you subscribe to a newsletter that's hosted on Beehive, it'll actually be like, hey, if you like that newsletter, you might like these newsletters, right? So just being on these platforms alone and having a niche carved out for yourself is really powerful because people just find your newsletter and will subscribe to it naturally because it's almost like a social media platform for newsletters. The other cool thing about being on one of these platforms is when you grow your audience, like people go to the platforms wanting to advertise. And if you had to go email 100 newsletter owners and like try to work out negotiations for a sponsorship on that newsletter, it would take you forever. But if you just go to like one of these platforms, you can just be like, here's my budget. I want to run an ad. And it connects you actually to like, they know all the metrics because they kind of they don't own the newsletter, but you're building on their platform. Okay. So this is a really powerful trend that's happening right now. So if you feel, man, the nudge for something like that, like I want to create something a little bit more like it's not directly related to my product, I definitely will use it and say it's sponsored by this brand, but you might make it more of a top of funnel, more broad thing that's going to attract people to your world. We're going to do this on Beehive specifically. We looked at the two platforms, but you will see us coming out with a newsletter. It's not ready yet, but very soon we'll be coming out with a newsletter that's like this, and we're hosting it on Beehive. As entrepreneurs and parents, convenience is key. But that doesn't mean you should have to sacrifice quality. For years, we nerded out on coffee, trying to get the highest quality, but that takes a lot of time, weighing the beans, getting the right grind, getting your water to the perfect temperature. And so when we had kids, we kind of shifted to the pod system, right? And it was a major downgrade. That was until we found X Bloom.
X Bloom works with the best roasters around the country, and their machine truly brings the specialty coffee shop experience to your home. If you love a good pour over, I highly recommend you check this out. You can elevate your coffee drinking experience while keeping up with your kids. If you're ready to transform your mornings, head to rainmakerfamily.com/deals to get started. That's rainmakerfamily.com/deals.
All right. So we've talked about how to create a bucket. Now we're going to share with you how to fill the bucket by creating an irresistible offer with a lead magnet. You might have heard this term before, lead magnet. And what we mean by that is a lead is someone who is giving you their information, most likely a potential customer. And a magnet is something that attracts them to go put their information in. And usually this is free.
I feel like when email was new, people just throw their email into anything, but people are way more protective over their inboxes and they're not just giving out their email. And if they do, maybe they're giving you their spam email, right? Like they're never going to read. And so you want to create something that's really valuable, that's attracting people to go, wow, I want that thing. I will trade my email for that. And I want more of whatever this person's giving. That is a lead magnet. Now, I guess to give you like just more practical examples so you can see this, I'm sure you've seen these. I'm sure you put your emails in, but just so you can see like how we're doing this, let's just use, I don't know, your brand for an example, Chelsea. Chelsea has a personal brand and she's growing it on Instagram. And so you've created a handful of lead magnets. Let's talk about those a little bit.
Yeah. So if you want to see them or maybe put your email in to get that free download, you can go to chelseadx.com. And I just created this because I wanted to connect more with people. Obviously, everything we do leads to Rainmakers, but I just wanted a different platform for people to find me. And on there, I have three specific free lead magnets where you can go to. You put your name and email in, which gives you an awesome download that myself and the team created for you in mind. So, just to name a couple, I have one that's called Travel Hacks for Entrepreneurs with Kids. My favorite productivity hacks as a busy mom and CEO. And the last one I have on there right now, if you scroll kind of halfway through the page, is 7 ways to start a business as a mom.
So if you want to see how irresistible lead magnets work, one, the title is kind of catchy. Wow, my favorite productivity hacks as a busy mom and CEO. That's something when Chelsea's on a podcast, when she's on social media, she'll mention that and say, hey, send me this word on Instagram and I'll send you a copy of that, right? If you want to see how it works, go to that website, chelseadiaz.com, and you just click the download button. And when you put that name and email in on the back end, it's Flowdesk. Okay. Flowdesk right now is what we're using to send newsletters out from time to time, but you'll get instant access to those downloads. So if you're new to the lead magnet thing, you want to see how it works, go try that out so you can see it, and then think of something for your own brand. Like what could be related? Again, if you're building a list for your brand, maybe it's related to your product. If you're selling a product on Amazon, the best thing you do is put an insert in your product, right? So like an insert in the package that says, hey, get this free checklist on blank or get this free download on blank. And that blank, what you put in the blank is something that answers your people's questions. It's something that solves their problems. Like if you're selling a product, what are the other questions they have? What are the other things, other ways you can help them, right? If I'm selling like a dog whistle, right? Can I have a digital download that's a free checklist on the 10 mistakes you must avoid when training your dog, right? That's a catchy title, right? And so if you are, struggling to come up with content, I feel like we've talked about this before, but ChatGPT is an amazing tool. Like ChatGPT is, I feel like you have to have heard by it. You have to have heard of this by now if you've been listening to this show. But this is an AI website where you can literally go ask it, like, I need to create a lead magnet for this product. Can you give me 10 ideas, right? Get 10 ideas. And then choose one of the ideas and say, can you help me build out the lead magnet for number 5? And then just keep asking it questions and let it build this thing. And then put your own spin on it, put your own words, your own expertise on it. And there you go. You have a lead magnet. It's a really simple way to create something fast. And then you could throw it in the Canva template and have it done, or hire someone on Fiverr, which we have a deal for that as well at that rainmakerfamily.com/deals to get it designed for you. That's honestly what we do. We put it in a Google Doc and then we hire a designer, a lead magnet designer on Fiverr. Costs like 25, maybe $50, and they put it together in this beautiful designed thing with photos and quotes and all these things. And then it's done. It's done. All right. Lastly, on this episode, we talked about how to make a bucket where you can catch people, right? Make it really easy, make easy way for them to sign up, easy way to send emails out. We talked about, convincing them to jump in the bucket. That's the lead magnet. Now, how do we amplify this? How do we get it in front of more people? That's where you're going to lean into other free areas of getting this in front of people, like social media.
Steven and I could talk a lot about leveraging social media and all the different platforms and how you can show up and connect and grow your audience on different platforms. We already did an awesome episode. So if you want to dive more into that on how to get people to even come to your website, buy your product, how to serve them and create more impact, we did an episode number 69 all about monetization and how to make more money while using social media. We got a lot of feedback from that episode. It gave you like simple strategy and tips and tricks you can do today. So I want to encourage you to go listen to that one.
So you got your bucket set up where you can collect people. You got them convinced to jump into the bucket. And if you go listen to an episode, you're going to have a ton of reasons, or you're going to have a ton of methods to actually go get that bucket promoted out in the world. And if I had to just tell you one from the episode, it really is like once you have this place, right? Just put it everywhere. Like I said, put it on the insert in the product, put it in your LinkedIn bio, put it on your Facebook profile, like in your about section, put it on your LinkedIn channel. Like you already have these places online. What about your email signature? Like you're sending emails every day. What if you put it in there? Get my travel hacks guide for busy entrepreneurs, right? It's so easy. You just got to put it lots of places. Now, there are more ways to grow organically to get your stuff in front of more people. And we go into that in that episode. We also have another episode on how we're growing on average 10,000 followers a month on Instagram. And so if you want to go deeper, definitely scroll through these podcast episodes, look for those episodes on social media. But once you have these things set up, now it's all about let's just get more eyes on them. Let's get more people in them. And then let's talk with those people and build relationships that can last for years to come. If you're a Rainmaker, you're in our mastermind program. We have an awesome section of the course called the ACV Amplifier. ACV stands for Average Cart Value. And this is a way that you can really increase the revenue you're generating out of your Amazon business. It's a 4-part, easy to binge watch through lesson series that shows you how to create a lead magnet, shows you how to create an insert. We actually give you templates for that insert, shows you how to use QR codes to make it really easy for your customer to opt in, and shows you strategies on how you can monetize and actually make that insert really valuable without even selling more of your own product. It's a really creative strategy. We haven't seen anyone else doing this on Amazon specifically. And so if you want to go deeper, you are in the Rainmaker Mastermind, go check out the ACV amplifier. It's in your course.
If you're not in our mastermind program and learning about how to sell a brand online interests you, I want to encourage you to sign up for a free family freedom design session with one of our team members.
Yeah, we have advisors who love to look at your situation, figure out what you got going on as far as how much time do you have, how much capital do you have going into this thing, whether it's zero or whether it's a lot. And we customize a family freedom plan for you to work towards your goals using what we teach in the mastermind. And you get paired up with personalized coaching, resources, education, AI. Like we got it all in the mastermind to help you succeed. So if that interests you and you want to make this year your year to jump in and build something for you, go to rainmakerfamily.com/mastermind. We'll also put that link in the show notes and you can get access to that free family freedom design session. Again, that's rainmakerfamily.com/mastermind.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Rainmaker Family Show. I want to encourage you to go take action on what you just learned.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Rainmaker Family Show. If you're not a part of our mastermind yet, I want to say I think you're missing out. Our heart here at Rainmakers is to create total abundance for you. That's why we're offering a free one-on-one family freedom design session for you, our faithful listener.
Yeah, if you want to hop on a call with our team, see if it's a good fit to build a business that creates time freedom for you, financial abundance, and helps you leave that thriving family legacy. That's what we're all about in our mastermind. You can grab a time on our team's calendar at rainmakerfamily.com/mastermind. Again, that's rainmakerfamily.com/mastermind.